Howdy y'all. Hey, I got to eat a little bit of crow. I was kind of casting aspersions on Hornaday's no lead bullets, thinking that, you know, they just weren't that accurate or whatever out of that 17, but turns out that's not really what my problem is. Whenever it would connect with those prairie dogs, it did a pretty good job on them, but I was missing, and I thought it was me with a little bit of shakiness, and you can see in that first video I am shaky. And anyway, I did away with using my backpack as a rest. I got a little bipod, and that was, you know, really did me pretty good. And but I still wasn't as steady as I wanted to be. And I ended up getting a little tripod made by the Caldwell sporting goods people or whatever, shooting supplies, and man, it just steadied it up where that crosshair is just dead nut solid, man, on a prairie dog, even out, you know, 150 yards or whatever. But I still had some trouble, and I'm pretty sure the rifle is capable of going out to 150 yards, you know, with maybe, you know, 2-inch group probably at 200 yards or 150 yards. I think I can shoot, you know, on a good day with not much wind, I could shoot, you know, 1 MOA, which is 1 inch at 100 yards. So anyway, I feel like that digital scope, the ATN scope, is great scope for, you know, shooting at night. It can see in the dark with infrared. It's got a camera in it, it can record the shot, so I really like that. But for some reason, at 100 yards or more, that thing is just not real precise. Like I had a BSA Sweet 17 scope on that 17, and I could, you know, get it into a 1-inch group there at 100 yards. Not every single time, but, you know, a lot of the time I was confident in it. And anyway, so I think that scope is fine for, you know, a deer-sized animal, a hog-sized animal, or whatever, out to 100 yards. In total darkness, it can see in the dark with that infrared light on it. But just not the greatest for prairie dog shooting. So anyway, I may take it off and put my Sweet 17 back on there and do some real serious prairie dogging. But I know I wanted to be able to share with y'all the crosshair shot from the scope cam kind of thing. And so I'm going to roll some of that in, but you'll see I'm either not the greatest shot, or that scope is just not the greatest scope paired up with this Savage 17. So anyway, stick around and you can see some of the prairie dog shot. And also out here, we've been having some of these apples drop off. When the wind comes in, they'll drop, and if we don't water the tree for a day or two, man, they start just kind of raining out of the tree. So anyway, we got a lot of apples on the ground, and I'll show you what's been cleaning up around here. Now, when I first started trying to get these prairie dogs, I was just using that backpack to stabilize my rifle on. That didn't work out just real well. I was pretty shaky. So then I upgraded to a little bipod, and I got that off of Amazon, and that went really about 80% towards stabilizing my shots, I would say. I also got this little shooting mat. It kind of rolls up, got it from Amazon, and I was using some camouflage gloves and face mask kind of thing. Even got a little bit of camo kind of bandage type tape to break up the rifle just a little bit. But let me show you what I'm using now, and I mean it just dead steady. Now this little tripod, I found it on Amazon from these people that make it, called Caldwell Shooting Supplies. And it's got kind of a little wheel here that clamps down on your rifle, and then it's got a pivot. You can pivot your rifle up or down, And then on the back here, it's got kind of a real fine-tuned little piece where your pistol stock kind of marries up to it, and then you can kind of turn this wheel a little bit, and it will adjust your rifle on the, I guess, the horizontal up or down there. So it really steadied up my shots. I can put that dot on a stationary Prairie Dog, and I mean, it doesn't move. Well, as it turns out, you shouldn't take a $100 tripod and put it on a $30 plastic Walmart table. It's just not that steady. So I ended up down on the ground using the table for shade. Shake just from the sun. Should have got out here really early morning before the heat kicks in. Man, that heat wave was just coming off the ground. It was whipping that target, making it look like a flag. I just couldn't get zeroed in like I wanted. First one I circled, the second one I thought was going to be tightened up, but actually probably was a little bit looser. And I was down on the ground, oh terra firma, so shoot, I don't know. I stayed after it, and I don't know. Those bullets were 50 cents a piece. That box cost me, I think, for 50 bullets was $25 plus shipping and handling, it seems like, or maybe that included shipping, I don't know, but anyway, I did my best, and then decided, well, I'm going to take it out there and see if I can get a prairie dog. On the way out, I got an early start. I think it's best to go out early in the morning, and then you got a little bit of cool anyway if you don't have much shade. So I wanted to get out there early, and I saw them twin fawns. Stopped to get some video, but Mom said, no, we ain't having that. After I got set up, I had my camo on, and I was laying down just on the edge of the pasture over watching the prairie dog town, and then I saw this fox moving along. Got a little video of him. I whistled at him a bit, trying to get him to stop, and finally he did. When he got to the wood line, he stopped and started looking over at me, but he didn't want to have much to do with me, so he took off. Now on to the prairie dog shooting. Now this cross is the type of reticle I was using. And when I started using the bipod, I continued using this particular type of cross. Of course, it's bright out there, and I can barely see in the scope, but there's two prairie dogs stacked in there, one behind the other. If I'd had a 223, I'd have probably got them both. But anyway, I rolled that first one, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I held it on center of mass. I think I hit him in the head, though. Now this guy here is presenting a perfect target. He's kind of a skinny dude, but you know, he's up tall and you don't have much grass on him around him. So I'm thinking, man, I'm going to get this guy. So I try to get that rifle, and you can see it's somewhat steady, but just not as steady as I want it to be. And man, it wings one right past his shoulder, hits the ground behind him, and he takes off. Now this guy here, I don't know what he's doing, looking around for seeds on the ground or what. But now I've got the circle tripod, and I've got that, the tripod, circle reticle with the tripod. And you see how steady it is? I mean, I'm right on his shoulder. He's about 120 yards away, and it's shot high. I don't know what's going on there. Now this guy's, he's only like 75, 80 yards away. I'm thinking I'm going to nail him, but I want him to get off the road because it's real rocky, and there's some houses right on there behind him, and I don't want to get a ricochet, so I'm waiting. But he jumps down and runs into some brush, so I don't get a shot at him. But then I spied this guy back here, and he's standing in the brush looking around, and I've got that tripod on this one. I'm going to get real steady on him. I had to get the safety turned off. And then finally I get the crosshairs on him, and I put that dot right on the middle of his back. And I think I hit him in the head as well. So I'm shooting a little bit high still. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. And so I'm still, this guy's about 135 yards away. And I get that dot, I mean, I'm just steady as a rock right on his, put it right on his heart. Take a shot, it wings right by his nose, goes into that bush right there. Of course, I can't see that at the time, but I eventually put it in slow motion, and look it over again, but he gives me a second shot. Unfortunately, I didn't put it down lower and to the right, and I miss him again. Well, anyway, I got a couple of them, so I put one up on this old cedar stump and put the camera on it just to see what would come and get it. I thought it'd be some prairie falcons or something would come and get it in the daylight, but turns out this fox sniffed it out in the wind, and they went up there and grabbed it, took off, and I guess he had a pretty good meal that night. But anyway, you can see the other cleanup crew back on the ditch. As I promised, I'd show you what come and got those apples. And man, we forget to water or something like that. There's a lot of apples come raining out of that tree. But this guy was like a Hoover vacuum cleaner. He didn't quit till that last apple was ate up. He just keeps getting them. Then he needed a little nap, so he lays down and then gets a little squinty-eyed, and before it's over, he even lays his head down. I guess he's pretty comfortable there. Maybe he grew up back in this area and he's laid down there before, so he just takes a little nap. And after about an hour, he got up and went on his way. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.